Merry Christmas, everyone. I thought I might brighten your day a little with a story of true love and, as a bonus, with a song from my favourite opera singer, Puppiopteryx. How about that? I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. Right, so this story appeared in the New York Times, and as we all know, the New York Times is not famous for retailing the truth. But I am hoping that this story is true because it is just too marvellous not to be. 120 miles of Russian forest couldn't keep these two tigers apart. Boris and Svetlaya were raised together as orphaned cubs and then reintroduced to the wild separately. But Boris went on a trek that surprised the researchers who were monitoring him. And here they are, Boris and Svetlaya, or maybe Svetlaya and Boris, who knows? I thought tigers were solitary creatures. Apparently, not when they're in love. And this story is by Anthony Ham. When Russian scientists released a pair of orphaned Amur tiger cubs into the wild in a remote corner of Russia's Far East in 2014, they were trying to save a species. While the tigers, sometimes called Siberian tigers and the world's largest big cat, remain endangered, the scientists created something else, an unlikely love story. The cubs, Boris and Svetlaya, had been rescued from the wild as unrelated 3 to 5 month old cubs in the Sikhote-Alin Mountains, the animal's main stronghold. They grew up in captivity and were released at 18 months old. The cats were separated by more than 100 miles with the goal of expanding the distribution of released tigers as much as possible in the pre-Amur region along Russia's border with China. The scientists tracked the cubs until more than a year after their release something strange happened. Boris walked over 120 miles almost in a straight line to where Svetlaya had made a home. 6 months later, Svetlaya gave birth to a litter of cubs. While the strategy of releasing rescued cats raised in captivity to restore populations in the wild had proved successful with the Iberian lynx in Spain, it had never been tried with big cats. But scientists working with the Wildlife Conservation Society say in a study published last month in the Journal of Wildlife Management that the successful release of rescued cubs like Boris and Svetlaya may for the first time become a viable option for restoring wild tigers to their historical range. Estimates of the number of tigers left in Russia range from 485 to 750. Ouch, that's really not very many. But researchers say that the Russia-China border area, including the pre-Amur area where Boris and Svetlaya live, could support hundreds more of the animals. This is somebody called Kolya Rybin, photographed with Boris when he was rescued, so he was just a cub there. Poor little thing. The reunited cats were not the project's only successful reintroductions. 2 hunters had found another female, Zolushka, Cinderella, in a snowdrift a few years earlier. After the conservationists returned her to the wild, an unknown male tiger showed up on a camera trap near where Zolushka had been released. In such a vast area, it was an encounter of extraordinary good fortune. Cinderella's prince showed up and they lived happily ever after, said Dale Mikkel, lead tiger scientist for the Wildlife Conservation Society and author of the study. Zolushka and the male also produced a litter of cubs, the first known cubs to be born in that area since the 1970s. In all, Russian scientists raised 13 orphan Siberian tiger cubs in captivity, avoiding any contact between the growing cubs and their human carers so as to prepare them for a life in the wild. The team gradually introduced the cubs to live prey so they could learn how to hunt. Also critical to the success was the timing of the cubs' release during spring, when prey was plentiful. One male cub failed the test of freedom. He wandered into China and preyed on domestic animals, including 13 goats in one shed in a single night. Russian scientists recaptured the young male and sent him to a captive breeding program at a zoo. But the remaining 12 proved that they were able to hunt wild prey and to survive, as well as wild tigers that had never spent time in captivity. Okay, well, yeah, there's your story. And isn't that a wonderful story of a male tiger walking 120 miles through the Russian forest to find his girlfriend? I wonder, and it said in this article, almost in a straight line, I wonder how he knew. I really wonder. Okay, well, this is a season of wonders, isn't it? Now, I'm going to play you, what was happening was I was trying out a few tunes in a book I'd never seen before, and I was playing this tune, and I didn't know it, but my son was videoing me at the same time. Well, as it just so happened, Puppiopteryx wandered in and joined in the tune. And how could I resist showing off someone with such an amazingly beautiful voice? I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. So, take it away, Puppiopteryx. I hope you enjoyed both the story of true tiger love and the beautiful singing of my faithful doggo. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, everyone.